Welcome back ZE Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and mysterious coins in American numismatic history, the 1975 Jefferson nickel. This 5-cent piece might look ordinary at first glance, but some versions of this coin have shocked collectors by selling for as high as $52,280. Yes, you heard that right. Over $50,000 for a 5-cent coin that many people have overlooked for decades. Let's take a journey through the history, design, and market value of the 1975 Jefferson nickel and find out what makes this coin so special and why you should be checking your change right now. First, a bit of background. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, the coin features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his famous home Monticello on the reverse. The design remained largely unchanged for decades, making it one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coin history. By the time the 1975 nickel was minted, the Jefferson design had already become a true American classic. Now, let's focus on the year 1975. During this time, nickels were struck at two main mints, Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark in 1975, while the Denver Mint used a small letter D on the reverse side. Both versions were made with the same metal composition, 75% copper and 25% nickel. Over 450 million nickels were produced that year, so at first glance, the 1975 issue doesn't sound rare at all. However, here's where the story gets interesting. Although hundreds of millions were made, only a tiny number of 1,975 nickels survived in flawless, uncirculated, or proof-like condition. Even fewer have extraordinary minting errors that make them incredibly valuable to collectors. Some of these rare errors include double die strikes, off-center errors, and full-step designations on Monticello, which means that the steps on Jefferson's home are sharply struck and fully visible, something that is actually quite hard to find on coins from the mid-1970s. Collectors pay close attention to those full-step nickels. A regular circulated 1975 nickel is usually worth only face value, 5 cents. But a 1975 nickel with full steps, in perfect mint condition, graded by a professional coin grading service such as PCGS or NGC, can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The highest grade examples, especially those with deep luster and no visible marks, are extremely sought after. The real surprise came when a 1975 Jefferson nickel with exceptional full-step details and pristine surfaces sold at auction for a jaw-dropping price of $52,280. This particular coin was graded MS-67 with full steps, making it one of the finest known examples in existence. To put that into perspective, that's more than a brand new luxury car, all for a 5-cent coin. But why did this coin reach such an incredible price? It's all about rarity and condition. In the world of coin collecting, top-quality examples of common dates can become extremely valuable when they are virtually perfect. Combine that with the full-step designation, flawless strike, and perfect preservation, and you have the recipe for a record-breaking coin. Only a handful of 1975 nickels have achieved such a high grade, and that scarcity is what drives up the value. Now, if you want to know whether your 1975 nickel might be worth a lot of money, here's what to look for. First, check the overall condition. If your coin is heavily circulated with scratches or dull surfaces, it's probably only worth face value. But if it has bright luster, sharp details, and no wear, it's worth taking a closer look. Next, inspect the reverse side of Monticello with a magnifying glass or coin loupe. If you can see all 6 steps clearly defined with no breaks or weak spots, you might have a full-step example. That alone can increase the coin's value dramatically. It's also worth checking for any unusual errors, like a double die obverse, where the lettering or date appears slightly doubled, or an off-center strike, where part of the design is missing because the coin was misaligned during minting. Error nickels from 1975 can bring in hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on how dramatic the mistake is. As of today's market, the average 1975 Jefferson nickel in circulated condition is worth between 5 and 10 cents. Uncirculated examples typically sell for around $1 to $5. A proof coin from the 1975 proof set, struck with mirror-like surfaces, may sell for $10 to $20 depending on quality. But when you step into the elite grades, MS66, MS67, and full-step designations, that's where the real money lies. Prices can easily jump from several $100s to thousands, and the highest known pieces command tens of thousands at major coin auctions. So, what's driving this demand? The Jefferson nickel series has a strong following of collectors who specialize in full-step examples from every year and every mint. The 1970s issues are notoriously difficult to find in perfect condition, which means every top-graded specimen becomes a trophy coin in the eyes of serious collectors. Add in the nostalgia of 1970s Americana and the growing popularity of vintage US coins, and it's no surprise that the 1975 nickel continues to rise in value. If you have a coin collection at home, or even a jar of old change, it's worth checking your nickels carefully. You might be holding a piece of history that's worth far more than you think. Always remember, the best way to confirm your coin's value is to have it professionally graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. They will authenticate it, assign an official grade, and certify its full-step status if applicable. That certification is what gives collectors confidence and helps you achieve the best possible price if you ever decide to sell. So there you have it, the 1975 Jefferson nickel, a seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin that could be worth over $50,000 in the right condition. Whether you're a beginner collector or a seasoned numismatist, this is one coin worth paying attention to. The next time you get change from a store, take a closer look. You never know, you might just find a little piece of American history and a small fortune hiding right in your pocket. We are diving into the fascinating world of Jefferson nickel. Specifically, we are talking about the 1980 5-cent coin. A small piece of American history that can actually be worth a surprising amount of money now. At first glance, the 1980 Jefferson nickel looks like any regular coin you might find in your spare change. It's made of the usual copper-nickel composition, weighing 5 grams with a diameter of 21.2 millimeters. It features the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, designed by Felix Schlag, who originally created the Jefferson nickel design back in 1938. On the reverse we have Jefferson's famous home Monticello with the inscriptions E pluribus unum, Monticello, 5 cents. United States of America. The mint mark D stands for the Denver Mint, where this particular coin was produced in 1980. The Denver Mint struck more than 500 million Jefferson nickels, which makes this coin seem very common at first glance. However, as collectors know, the real story begins when we talk about condition, mint errors, and die varieties. While most 1980 nickels are only worth their face value of 5 cents, a few rare examples have brought shocking amounts at auction. In fact, one exceptional specimen graded by PCGS in nearly perfect mint state condition with an ultra-sharp strike and full steps detail on Monticello sold for over $46,000. Precisely $46,280. That's right, a 5-cent coin that sold for more than $46,000. So what makes that coin so special? Let's break it down. First, we have to understand what collectors mean when they talk about full steps. On the reverse side of the Jefferson nickel, look closely at the steps on Monticello. If all the steps are clearly visible, sharp, and unbroken, the coin is considered to have full steps. Only a very small number of nickels are struck that well, especially from the Denver Mint during the 1980s, when die quality and striking pressure varied greatly. That full steps designation dramatically increases value. Coins graded MS67 or higher with full steps can bring thousands of dollars because they represent the best quality available for that year and mint. Second, mint errors play a huge role in rarity. Some 1980 nickels were struck on the wrong planchet, off-center, double-struck, or had major die cracks. Each of these errors makes the coin unique, and collectors will pay big premiums for them depending on the type and visibility of the error. Another reason this coin has gained attention is because 1980 was a transitional period in the history of the Jefferson nickel. By that time, the design had been in use for over 40 years and die wear was becoming more noticeable. Collectors look for coins that survived in pristine condition despite mass production. Now let's talk about the history of the Jefferson nickel itself. Introduced in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel, the design honored Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and the author of the Declaration of Independence. The nickel has gone through small design adjustments over the decades, but the core idea remained the same. Jefferson on the obverse and his home Monticello on the reverse. The 1980D issue marks one of the later classic-era Jefferson nickels before the U.S. Mint began making noticeable design refinements in the early 2000s that makes high-grade coins from this period particularly interesting to collectors who want a complete full date and mint sets. When it comes to current market values, most circulated 1980D nickels are still worth only 5 to 10 cents, depending on condition, but uncirculated examples graded MS65 or MS66 can range from $2 to $50 once you reach the ultra-high grades with full steps. Prices skyrocket into the hundreds and even thousands, and that brings us back to the record holder, that PCGS graded 1980D Jefferson nickel in mint state 67 plus full steps that sold for $46,280 was one of the finest known examples. Its surfaces were nearly flawless, the luster was bright, and every step on Monticello was crisp and fully separated. Collectors recognized it as a once-in-a-lifetime find. We are diving deep into one of the most surprising coins hiding in plain sight inside American change jars and pocket change. It is the 1988 Jefferson 5-cent nickel. A coin that most people see every day but very few realize could be worth thousands of dollars in the right condition. Yes, you heard that right. Some examples of the 1988 Jefferson nickel have sold for over $40,000 at auction. So let's explore exactly why. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the earlier buffalo or Indian head nickel that had been in circulation since 1913. The design of the Jefferson nickel was created by artist Felix Schlag. On the obverse side we see a portrait of the third President of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, facing left. The word liberty and the motto "In God We Trust" appear to his right, while the date is shown to the left. The reverse side features Jefferson's famous home, Monticello, with the words E pluribus unum, Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. The design remained largely the same for decades, with only small updates in relief and detail. Now let's move forward to the year 1988. This was a common year for nickels in terms of production. The Denver Mint, represented by the small letter D under the year, struck over 300 million Jefferson nickels that year. Because of such a high mintage, the vast majority of these coins are only worth face value, 5 cents, especially if they are circulated. But as always in coin collecting, the story changes when we start talking about mint state examples, high-grade conditions, and rare mint errors. The Denver Mint is known for strong, bold strikes but also for producing some interesting varieties in the 1980s. When it comes to the 1988 D nickel, collectors look for specific characteristics that can dramatically raise its value. The first is overall condition. Coins graded by professional services such as PCGS or NGC can command incredible premiums when they reach the top of the grading scale. For example, a perfect mint state 67 or 68 coin with full steps, meaning all 6 steps on Monticello are clearly visible and sharply struck, can bring thousands of dollars. Full steps nickels are especially sought after because they demonstrate an exceptional strike from the die with no wear or weakness. Another thing that sets certain 1988 D nickels apart is the presence of rare die varieties and minting errors. Some examples show die cracks, repunched mint marks, or die clashes. Others have off-center strikes or double die features, where letters or parts of the design appear doubled. These errors can range in value from a few dollars to hundreds or even thousands depending on severity and eye appeal. Collectors love errors because they show the human and mechanical side of minting, the little imperfections that make a coin unique. Now let's talk about the record sales. The highest recorded price for a 1988 D Jefferson nickel came from a specimen graded MS-67 with full steps. This coin sold for an astonishing $40,280. Yes, over $40,000 for a 5-cent coin. What made that coin special was not just its flawless surface and sharp strike, but also the rarity of that grade. Out of the hundreds of millions of nickels struck in 1988, only a handful have survived in such pristine condition with all the steps fully visible. When rarity meets demand, prices soar. So what should you look for if you have a jar of nickels or plan to check your change? Start by looking at the mint mark under the year. You want to see the letter D, which stands for the Denver Mint. Then check the overall condition. If the coin looks shiny and new with no major scratches or wear, it might be uncirculated. Take a magnifying glass and look closely at Monticello on the reverse side. If you can see all the steps clearly without any breaks or weak spots, you may have a full steps example. Even a lower grade full steps coin can be worth several $100s, especially if professionally graded. It's also worth checking for errors like double die obverse or reverse, die cracks, or off-center strikes. Any of these can dramatically increase the coin's value. Remember that grading is everything in coin collecting. A coin that looks great to the naked eye might only be worth a few cents if it shows minor wear, while another that appears nearly identical but grades just one level higher could be worth hundreds or even thousands. Now, let's talk about the current market. As of today, collector interest in Jefferson nickels remains strong. Prices for top-graded examples have been steadily climbing due to demand from registry-set collectors who are competing for the finest known examples. The 1988 D nickel with full steps in MS-67 condition still holds a value in the tens of thousands of dollars, with that record auction price sitting at $40,280. Coins graded slightly lower, such as MS-66 or MS-65 with full steps, can range between $200 and $2,000 depending on eye appeal and certification. That if you are lucky enough to find a 1988 D Jefferson nickel in exceptional condition, consider submitting it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Proper certification not only confirms authenticity and grade but also ensures you receive the maximum possible value if you decide to sell. To wrap things up, the 1988 D Jefferson 5-cent nickel is a perfect example of how even modern coins can hold incredible value under the right circumstances. Most of these coins are ordinary, but a select few stand out as rare treasures worth far more than their face value. Whether it's a flawless mint state full steps example or a dramatic minting error, there is always a chance that one small coin in your change could be worth a fortune. We are diving deep into one coin that shows up in pocket change more than you might think, the 1989 P. Jefferson nickel. If you have one of these coins in a drawer, you will want to stick around because we cover the history, the mintage, how to identify valuable varieties, and whether that price you might have heard about $34.280 makes sense. Spoiler alert: most are worth very little, but certain error and high grade examples can be worth a lot more. Cold open hook: imagine finding a single 5-cent coin and learning it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. That seems crazy for a modern coin, but believe it or not, rare conditions and unusual errors turn common dates into collector gold. Here is why the 1989 P nickel is worth checking closely every time it crosses your palm. Section 1: Coin Basics. Quick history and what was happening in 1989. The Jefferson nickel design first appeared in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. And the basic design stayed the same for decades. The coin you are holding was struck at the Philadelphia Mint in 1989 and bears the letter P only in the mint records because Philadelphia did not add a P mint mark to circulation strikes until after 1989. For nickels, the vast majority of circulating 98.9p nickels were produced in huge numbers, nearly 900 million pieces, which means the date is very common in everyday change. The composition is typical of modern U.S. nickels, 75% copper and 25% nickel, so the intrinsic melt value is a few cents at most. Section 2, mintage and how common the coin is. The official mintage is roughly 898 million coins from Philadelphia, making the coin a mainstream modern date. That means standard, worn and unremarkable examples are essentially common and trade for face value or just above, in uncirculated but not technically exceptional grade. So if most are common, what makes one worth more? Condition matters a lot. A coin with perfect striking full details and nowhere can be placed in the uncirculated or mint state categories, and those grades fetch higher premiums. Certified coins graded by services like PCGS and NGC can command collector interest. Error coins and unusual die varieties also attract specialty collectors. The two big categories to watch are full steps on the reverse and die errors such as double die strike, severe die breaks, or unusual minting anomalies. Full steps refers to the defined lines on Monticello, the building on the reverse. Each step on the right side of the building should be fully separated and sharply struck. If those steps are fully present, collectors call that full steps, and it can raise the value significantly. For Jefferson nickels, not every coin shows full steps even in uncirculated condition because strike strength and die polishing vary. If you find a 98.9p with strong full steps certified at a high grade, that is where you start to see numbers that are much higher than face value. Most circulated 98.9p Jefferson nickels are worth between a few cents and a few dollars depending on where and I appeal. Certified uncirculated examples in lower mint state grades are modestly priced. Uncommon high grade examples and coins with documented error varieties can be worth substantially more. For general price guides and graded population information, consult reputable resources and auction records. Notably, price guides show typical circulated examples trading for pennies to under a dollar, while certified mint state pieces have guide values that rise gradually with grade. It is possible to find auction records where high-grade certified examples or exceptional error coins realized 4 digits at auction. An example auction record shows one certified 98.9p in a mint state grade selling for over $1,000. This demonstrates that while the average coin is inexpensive, the top end of the market for this date can spike considerably when rarity meets collector demand. PCGS.com. Some of the most collectible 98.9p nickels are those with clear die errors, double dies, strong die breaks, off-center strikes, and other unusual minting mistakes. These error coins are a specialist market and prices vary wildly between worthless and valuable depending on how dramatic and well documented the error is. Online marketplaces sometimes list error coins for lots of money, but buyer beware. Authentication and certification by a respected grading service is key for achieving premium prices at auction. Section 8. The $34.280 figure. Where might that come from? You told me the current market value is $34.280. I interpreted that as $34.28. If that is the number you see listed somewhere, it is higher than the typical values for most 98.9p nickels, but it is not an impossible retail or dealer listing price for a nicely graded, uncirculated example sold online. The discrepancy comes down to condition and certification. A mid to high uncirculated grade coin certified by a top grading service can be listed by sellers in that price range on marketplaces or price guides, and some specialty error or full steps examples will trade above that level. The key is to compare any asking price to recent realized auction results and population data to see whether the asking price is realistic. First, check wear and luster. Is Jefferson's cheek and hair sharp or soft and flattened? If you see little or no wear, that is a good sign. Next, look at Monticello's steps. Are the steps fully separated and well defined? If yes, that coin may have full steps. Take good sharp photos and compare to reference images. If you suspect an error, look for doubling on lettering or digits and unusual die cracks or strange rim dings. If you believe you have an exceptional piece, get it graded by a reputable service. Before trying to sell, certification substantiates condition and can dramatically affect price. If you want top dollar, consider getting a third-party grading company to grade and encapsulate the coin. That cost is often worth it for high-grade or obvious error pieces. Local coin shops can give initial opinions, but their offers are usually lower than auction realized prices. If you plan to sell online, prepare excellent photos, list, grade and any provenance and price competitively by referencing recent Auction results. Online marketplaces and coin publications show a wide range of offers from a few dollars to several hundreds or more depending on grade and error status. Some sellers list 98.9p nickels with claims of rare doubling or other oddities at steep asking prices. Always cross-check those listings with auction databases and professional price guides before assuming a value. Section 12 Quick checklist for viewers. Check for wear and luster. Check for full steps on Monticello. Look for obvious doubling or die cracks. Photograph both sides well and compare to reference guides. If the coin looks special, get it graded by PCGS or NGC. So is a 98.9p Jefferson nickel worth $34.28? Yes, that is a plausible asking or retail price for a nicely preserved certified example, but it is not representative of the average coin. Most circulating examples are worth face value or a few cents, while certified high grade or rare error examples can push values higher and occasionally reach hundreds or low thousands depending on rarity and collector demand. The moral is examine each coin individually and verify claims with population reports, auction results and reputable price guides before making assumptions that any single modern nickel is worth a fortune. If you want, I can do a follow-up where I walk you through real auction records for 98.9p coins and show step-by-step how to spot full steps on your own photos, or how to prepare a coin for submission to a grading service. If you have images of your coin, upload them and I will examine them and give you my opinion right away. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, sub for more coin deep dives, and leave a comment with the date on your nickel. I answer questions in the comments and love seeing what coins you find. See you next time, and happy hunting. Sources and suggested references to show in the video: national grading and price guide information and population data. We are diving deep into one small coin with surprising secrets, the 1998p Jefferson nickel 5 cents, but with stories that can send collectors scrambling to check their change. Stick around, because by the end I will tell you what makes one 1998p worth only 5 cents and what makes another suddenly trade for tens or even hundreds of dollars. Intro and promise: I am going to walk you through the story of the 1998p nickel, from why it was minted, how many were made, what collectors look for, the exact varieties and error types that matter, and a realistic snapshot of market prices, including why you might see roundup numbers like the one you sent me and what they actually mean. This is a full guide geared for coin collectors, YouTube creators, and people who find a nickel in their pocket and wonder if it is treasure. Quick background history on the Jefferson nickel series. The Jefferson nickel design has been used since 1938, with Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. The design has had several small changes over the decades, and collectors pay close attention to details like the steps of Monticello, the clarity of mint marks, and doubling or die cracks, because those details determine value. The modern nickels of the 1990s were produced in very large numbers, and most are common and worth face value unless they show special characteristics. Mintage and how many 1998p nickels exist. The crucial fact to understand is that 1,998 nickels were mass-produced for circulation. The Philadelphia Mint plus the Denver Mint together produced over 1 billion Jefferson nickels in 1998 because they were made in huge quantities. The vast majority of 1998p nickels found in circulation are worth only face value 5 cents unless they are uncirculated, high grade, or have a recognized error or variety that collectors prize. Coin value checker plus one common collector upgrades that create value. There are 3 realistic ways a 1998p Jefferson nickel becomes worth more than face value. First, condition and grade. An uncirculated coin with perfect strike and no wear can be worth several dollars to collectors trying to fill registry sets or to dealers selling BU coins. Second, full steps on the reverse. Collectors talk about Monticello steps, and coins graded as full steps can command higher prices. Third, genuine mint errors or die varieties. Examples include double die obverse or reverse doubling off-center strikes or unusual planchet or grease-related strike problems. Any legitimate, documented error or an official attributed variety will attract buyer interest and raise the price sometimes dramatically. NGC Coin Plus 1. What is full steps and why it matters? Full steps describes how sharply the steps of Monticello appear on the reverse of the nickel when all 6 steps are fully visible and sharply struck. Collectors say the coin has full steps. This is a desirable attribute because it signals a strong strike and careful handling. Full steps examples for modern Jefferson nickels appear on collector wish lists and can add significant premium over face value, especially in uncirculated grades. Many online listings for 1998p full steps examples show prices well above 5 cents, though exact prices vary with condition and grading. eBay error types that can create huge value. Not every error is valuable, but some dramatic errors can be extremely valuable. Double striking, where the image is noticeably double die doubling on letters or details off center strikes. Clipped planchets, weak strikes that leave odd dimpled rims, and minting anomalies caused by die clashes are the types of errors collectors chase in modern nickels. There have been notable highly valuable errors from other years that prove how valuable a rare minting mistake can be. So a rare and provable 1998p error could be worth much more than a normal coin. However, the majority of alleged errors on auction sites are either minor or misidentified, so provenance and specialist grading by a reputable service is essential before assuming a coin is rare or valuable. eBay Plus 1 grading and authentication matter more than I appeal. If you think you have a rare 1998p nickel, do not immediately trust a random online listing or a blurry photo. Authentication by a third-party grading service such as NGC or PCGS is how the market agrees on rarity and value. Graded coins carry census and auction records that collectors and dealers rely on. Always consider third-party grading before making selling or buying decisions, because raw in-hand value is often far lower than what a graded and authenticated specimen would achieve at auction. NGC Coin realistic current market values and what to expect now. To the part viewers most want to know, how much is a 1998p Jefferson nickel actually worth in typical circulation condition? The coin is worth its face value, and common circulated examples sell for a few cents to $1 online depending on condition. Most uncirculated common 1998p nickels in modest mint state grades might sell for a few dollars to low tens of dollars. Collectible full steps uncirculated examples and modest errors commonly trade in the tens of dollars. Authentic and dramatic error coins graded by major services can sell in the hundreds or more at auction. The bottom line is the range is very large, from 5 cents up to hundreds depending on the precise variety, grade and provenance. Coin value checker Plus 1. About the number you mentioned in your message, you noted a current market value of $28.28, represented as $28.280. This number is within the realistic range for certain nicely graded or full steps 1998p nickels. Listed online sellers often ask prices in the mid-tens to low hundreds for uncirculated full steps, or for modest verified error pieces. Actual sale prices depend on condition, grading, and whether the piece was sold at auction or as a private sale. In other words, a listing asking around $20 to $50 is not unusual, but that asking price is not the same as a guaranteed sale price and must be treated as a market snapshot rather than a fixed value. eBay Plus 1. How to inspect a nickel on camera or at home. Here are practical steps to examine a 1998p nickel. Hold it under a bright light and tilt it slowly. Study the steps of Monticello on the reverse. Look for sharp definition and whether all 6 steps appear full. Next, examine the obverse for doubling, especially on Jefferson's cheek eye or the letters Liberty and In God We Trust. Then check the rim for unusual dimples, clipped edges, or evidence of double striking. Use a magnifier loupe or your phone camera zoomed and take crisp photos from both sides and from oblique angles. If the coin shows any pronounced anomaly, consider sending high-resolution photos to an online coin forum and ultimately to a grading service for authentication. Selling and buying advice. If you think you have a valuable error or a full steps high-grade specimen, do not sell hastily to a local dealer without checking online auction results and price guides. Have the coin graded by a reputable service to maximize value. For routine sales, use established auction houses or major platforms and include detailed photos and grades. If you are buying, be cautious about sellers claiming high values without proof and ask to see past sale records or the grading certificate. Quick myth busting. Myth 1. Every 1998 nickel is valuable. Not true. Most are face value. Myth 2. A little doubling visible in a photo means the coin is a valuable double die. Not true. Many doubling effects are from machine doubling or strike characteristics that have little market demand. Only certified, clear, and rare double die examples fetch premiums. Myth 3: an asking price equals realized price. Not true. Sellers often list aggressive prices, but realized auction results and certified sales history are the true indicators of market value. Call to action for viewers: if you like this deep dive, please like and subscribe and hit the bell so you do not miss future coin hunts. If you found a 1998 p nickel in your pocket, take good photos and drop them in the comments or send them to me. I will do my best to point you in the right direction and discuss what to look for. Short summary recap: the 1998 p Jefferson nickel is usually common and worth face value because so many were minted, but collectors prize full steps, high-grade examples and genuine mint errors which can push prices into the tens or hundreds of dollars. Authentication and grading are essential, and asking prices on marketplaces are only one part of the value picture. We are diving deep into a coin that looks ordinary but can hide surprises: the 2017 D Jefferson 5-cent nickel. If you have one in your pocket or in a drawer, you might be asking, is this thing worth a lot of money? Is that $22.28 figure I saw online real? Stay with me, because by the end of this video you will know the history, the varieties, the rare errors, the real market values, and exactly what to look for before you ever sell a coin. I will show real examples of the issues that can push value from pocket change to serious collector money. I will also share the exact steps to authenticate and sell a valuable specimen so you do not get ripped off. Sound good? Let us go. Jefferson nickel series started in 1938 and it was created to replace the earlier Buffalo nickel. The design features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. The modern Jefferson nickel family has many minor design changes, and many modern coins are produced in massive numbers. The 2017 D nickel comes from the Denver Mint, and in normal circulated condition it is essentially everyday pocket change. That does not mean a 2017 D can never be worth money, but the starting point is low mass production and low base value. Collectors pay premium prices when three conditions line up: rarity, demand, and condition. A coin might be rare because of a minting error like doubling or a misalignment. It might be rare because very few high-grade examples survived with excellent details or original luster. And demand matters: some error types or varieties attract focused collector interest. If you find a true error variety on a modern nickel and it is in an unusually high grade, collectors will pay a premium. In short, special characteristics multiplied by top condition equals value. Most 2017 D Jefferson nickels from circulation are worth face value or a little more as a collectible. Typical circulated examples trade for cents, not dollars, and uncirculated regular strikes usually list for under $1 to a few dollars at most for general market price guides. The common 2017 D in circulated condition is practically pocket change, while uncirculated versions may be worth a few tenths to $1 or $2. Certifying services have price guide ranges that reflect this low base value. If you were told that every 2017 D is worth $22, that is inaccurate. Most are worth far less. High prices come from rare errors or exceptional certified grades. A subset of modern nickels have mint errors like strong double die, obverse double dies on the reverse, broad double die varieties, or dramatic striking anomalies. Other mistakes include severe die cracks, die breaks, off-center strikes, and unusual planchet problems. Some error coins have sold for tens or hundreds of dollars, and very rarely extreme or one-of-a-kind errors can go much higher at auction. However, those sales represent exceptional outliers, not the typical market. Common error types you should look for on a 2017 D: look with a loupe or a good phone macro lens for these things: a clear doubled image of lettering or portrait that shows distinct second impressions, die cracks or raised lines across the face or field of the coin, off-center strikes where the design is clipped, planchet defects such as missing metal or laminations that expose rough metal, unusual rim marks or dimple type errors where the strike shows overlapping dies, machine doubling or weak die clash. Impressions can look like doubling but often reduce rather than increase collector value unless they meet specific diagnostic criteria. Authentic double die errors show clear hub doubling in the design elements, not just a flat shift on the surface. First condition is everything. Grading on the 70-point scale matters. The difference between an average uncirculated coin and an MS-67 or MS-68 certified coin is dramatic for collector pricing. Second, the error or variety must be documented and recognized by the collecting community. Third, provenance or reliable certification from a major grading service increases buyer confidence and often price. You should expect a properly certified rare error to attract a premium compared to raw examples sold on auction sites. If you saw a listing that states the current market value is $22.28, you need to treat it cautiously. Price guides and online listings sometimes show asking prices or sale prices for particular graded coins, but these are not universal market values. A 2017 D that sold for $22 might have been a certified example or an uncommon error. On the other hand, many listings show buy it now prices that sellers set hoping someone will pay them. That does not mean all examples are worth that. Some always compare multiple sources and verified auction results before trusting a single price. You can find many eBay and marketplace listings for 2017 D nickels with error claims. Most of these sell for modest amounts. Raw error nickels often sell for under $20 unless the error is dramatic and well authenticated. There are occasional auction records and private sales where a certified rare error produced a higher price, but those are the exception, not the rule. If you want to know how much a coin like yours could sell for, search auction records and recent sales from reputable houses and check graded coin price guides. Step 1, get a good light and a loupe 10 times or higher. Step 2, clean only with your eyes, do not rub or polish the coin. Cleaning will destroy collector value. Step 3, examine the obverse and reverse for doubling, die marks, die cracks, off-center strikes or planchet defects. Step 4, compare to known error photos online and in error coin guide. Step 5, consider submitting the coin to a major grading service if the piece looks exceptional. Certified coins sell for more. Step 6, if you need help, take multiple high-resolution photos and reach out to a reputable coin dealer or error coin forum for a second opinion. Do not trust only one opinion and avoid dealers who give immediate lowball offers. Third-party grading from services like NGC or PCGS gives you an objective grade and authentication. The process costs a grading fee plus shipping and insurance. The fee depends on declared value and turnaround time. For a coin that could be worth only a few dollars, paying an expensive grading fee rarely makes sense, but if you suspect a true rare error or very high-grade mint state specimen, grading can increase the sale price significantly. Note that certification is a service with costs, and it is only worth it when the potential market value justifies the expense. If you confirm you have an unusual error or a high-grade certified coin, the safest routes are reputable auction houses and well-known coin dealers. Online auction houses that specialize in coins can reach collectors who will pay top dollar. If you prefer immediate cash, a trusted local dealer or coin shop will buy, but expect lower offers than auction results. For raw error coins, consider listing on specialist error coin marketplaces or established forums. Always provide high-resolution images, honest descriptions and proof of authenticity when available. Avoid quick cash deals from strangers and keep records of all communications. Hey coin friends, welcome back. If you have a 2017 D Jefferson nickel and you heard it might be worth $22 or a fortune, stop and let us break it down together. The plain truth is most 2017 D nickels are common and worth little beyond face value or a few cents to casual collectors, but the reason people get excited is that modern minting errors can create real collector interest. In some cases, errors or exceptionally high uncirculated grades have sold for significant premiums. That said, such sales are rare and require authentication. If you think your coin is special, take good photos, do not clean it, and get a second opinion from a reputable expert. If the coin checks out, a certified sale through a major auction house is the safest way to capture top market value. Remember, knowledge protects you from being underpaid or overpaying for grading services. Thanks for watching, and if you like this breakdown, hit subscribe and leave a photo of your coin in the comments if you want me to take a look. A few error varieties and high-graded certified coins can be worth more, sometimes substantially more. The number $22.28 could be a single sale or a seller asking price, but it is not a universal market value for every 2017. Always avoid cleaning, get a second opinion, and use reputable grading or auction services for truly valuable specimens. Today we are diving deep into one of those coins you might find in your pocket change, the 2017 P Jefferson nickel. We will cover the history of the Jefferson nickel design, why most 2017 P nickels are only worth a few cents to a dollar, why some specific examples can be worth big money, and how to tell if your coin is a valuable variety. Stick around till the end because I will explain what the market looks like right now, including the current market value figure you mentioned, which is $16.280, and why that number may apply only to very specific examples. Hook, if you think all nickels are worth just 5 cents, think again. Modern coins hide tiny details and minting quirks that can turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. The 2017 P issue is a perfect modern example of how condition doubling errors and full steps can change a coin from pocket change into a collector piece. Quick overview of the coin and the design. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of United States coinage since 1938 when it replaced the Buffalo nickel. The obverse shows Thomas Jefferson and the reverse shows Monticello, the home Jefferson designed. Over the decades the design has been tweaked and refreshed, but the basic portrait plus Monticello reverse has remained the icon of the series. In 2016 the Mint introduced a new Jefferson design which carried forward into 2017, and those modern strikes are what collectors examine closely when looking for high-value examples. JeffersonNickel.org. What makes the 2017 P special? Most of the 2017 P nickels were produced for circulation at the Philadelphia facility, and they are extremely common in circulated grades. For ordinary circulated coins you should expect face value or a small premium for nicer uncirculated pieces. Typical retail estimates for a standard 2017 P Jefferson nickel in uncirculated condition sit in the range of a few tenths of a dollar up to under $1 for grades that are not certified or especially rare. The melt value of the metal is only a few cents. Usecoinbook.com. But why then do some listings show much higher prices? The short answer is that not all coins are equal. A handful of specific characteristics can raise the value dramatically. Collectors chase full step examples abbreviated as 5 full steps, which means the steps on the reverse building are fully struck and visible. Collectors also hunt for mint errors such as die chips, die cracks, double dies, strike throughs, or other unusual anomalies. Finally, coins that grade extremely high by major grading services can command collector prices that far exceed ordinary retail values. Online listings and auction results show everything from small premiums $3 to $10 for mild varieties up to several $100s and even thousands for rare error types or ultra-high-grade full-step examples. PCGS.com. +1 common varieties and errors to look for. Die chips and die cracks are among the most commonly encountered errors on modern coins. These show as raised bumps or lines on the surface and are easy to spot under magnification. Filled mintmark or filled letter errors can look like blobs instead of crisp letters. Strike-throughs occur when debris or grease interrupts the striking process, leaving smudged detail. Double dies show doubling of design elements and are more sought after. The highly sought full-step reverse variety shows 5 fully separated steps on Monticello and is used by collectors to identify the best struck examples. Error listings for 2017 nickels are common on auction sites, and some error coins sell for a premium compared with ordinary specimens. Coin Value Checker. +1 How much can specific 2017 P examples be worth? For a standard circulated 2017 P nickel, expect roughly face value to about $1 in most cases. Uncirculated mint state pieces can be worth a few dollars. If the coin displays significant error features, is certified as having 5 full steps, or is a rare double die or other dramatic mint error, then the price can jump into the tens, hundreds, or sometimes thousands of dollars. There are documented cases where very high-grade or uniquely error-struck modern nickels reached prices far above typical retail ranges. That range explains listings that show a wide spread of asking prices online. Usecoinbook.com. +1 Explaining the current market value. You gave $16.280. You told me the current market value figure is $16.280. If someone quotes $16.280 as a market value, that could reflect an average listing price for collectible but not ultra-rare examples, or a particular variant in decent mint state that sells to collectors. Keep in mind, modern coin market prices vary based on where you look. Face-to-face auctions, online marketplaces, and dealer price guides all differ. That $16.280 number could be realistic for a nicer certified BU example, an attractive full-step specimen in a mid-high MS grade, or a modest error variety. It is not a representative price for a random circulated coin taken from your pocket. Most pocket change 2017 P nickels are still worth 5 cents face value unless they have a special attribute. Usecoinbook.com. +1 Grading matters a lot. Professional grading companies grade coins on a scale from 1 to 70. Modern nickels in the higher end of the scale, MS67, MS68, and MS69 or MS70 if perfect, are exponentially rarer than say MS63, which is a common mint state grade. A certified MS67 Plus full step example can be hugely more valuable than an uncertified piece. When you see big price tags, remember they usually attach to graded coins with clear documentation of their grade and variety. Buyer beware if a listing claims high value but shows no certification. PCGS.com How to inspect a 2017 P nickel yourself step by step. First, look at the reverse building steps. Count and evaluate how distinct the steps are. Use a magnifier 10 power or a clear macro photo to judge whether the steps separate cleanly. Second, check for die chips or raised blobs near letters or in flat areas. Third, look for doubling on lettering or Jefferson's portrait. Fourth, check the edge and weight. A true nickel should weigh about 4.94 grams. Fifth, compare the coin to reference photos from reputable numismatic resources and auction images. If you think you have a full step double die or other major variety, consider submitting the coin to a grading service for authentication and grading. eBay Plus One, where people sell these coins and how to price them. Good places to sell or research prices include established auction houses, coin dealer sites, online marketplaces, and certified coin sales platforms. Look at realized auction prices, not just asking prices, because sellers often list at high numbers that do not reflect actual sale prices. If you want a reliable price check, seek recent auction results for coins matching the same variety, grade, and photos as yours. For modest errors, expect tens of dollars. For common flaws and more for rare dramatic errors. For full step gems or certified high-grade finds, prices can escalate quickly. eBay Plus One, common scams and pitfalls. Be wary of listings that claim a coin is rare without clear photos or certification. Some sellers mislabel or